Hello and welcome everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about FlutterFlow, how to get started, and this is for the complete beginner. If you want to know how to get started, which template to use, how you can be using all of the different features and components of FlutterFlow, you get your answers right here. So come with me. Again, hello and welcome everyone. Tonight's pretty special. We're going to be looking at how to use FlutterFlow from the very beginning. We just released a brand new guide for FlutterFlow. There's going to be a link down below if you want to get that. And if you're part of the membership, you get that bundled in for free. So we're going to be talking about all of those things. Let me know if you're watching this live or the replay. Just do hashtag replay in the comment section down below. We're going to answer all of your questions. We're going to be getting started. And yeah, we're going to be building and all of those things. So to begin, we're going to be talking about FlutterFlow. If you are new to this, if you've never heard of this platform, this is a platform where you can build apps very easily using the power of low code. If you're familiar with drag and droppers, you can be doing this. But if you're also a little bit more experienced with knowing how to code or using something called Flutter, you're going to be able to really harness the power of this as well. So we're going to be diving into this a little bit more. We're going to be talking about the key features, what you're going to be able to do. But I think the best way to get started is right here, kind of going through the outline of what we're going to be talking about tonight and then diving into the platform. So the first thing is I would say, what type of app are you building? Write that down in the comment section. That's really important because there's so many different no-code tools out there. A lot of people want to launch marketplaces, want to launch an on-demand business, whatever it is. Let us know in the comment section because that allows us to know, does it have the functionality that you need? And do you have the skills to be able to do this? The next part is, why are you trying to build this? Are you doing this to scratch your own itch? Is it something that you're trying to build that works for your own business? Do you see a gap in the market that you want to go after? Let us know that as well. Okay. The next part is, what you have to do is to make sure to get started is you're going to need to create a Google account. Then you're going to need to sign up for FlutterFlow. And I would already create a Firebase account just so if you're going to be using some of the different templates with FlutterFlow, you'll already have all of that stuff configured, and you'll be able to do it at least once and look at what you need to do and go from there. Okay. So you've got to do these three things before you begin. Create a Google account, sign up for FlutterFlow, and then get a Firebase account. All three of those things that you need to do, they are free. They are free. So a Google account is free. FlutterFlow can start for free. And also you can get Firebase, which is a Google product, or they're under Google. So you'll be able to get that for free as well. And if you need advanced things for Firebase, you can pay as you go. So again, you can start for free. Okay, so now that you're starting those three things, or you're going to be able to sign up, the next portion is we're going to now sign into FlutterFlow. Okay, so the next portion is I'm going to give you a breakdown of everything found in FlutterFlow to get started. And then on top of that, we're going to talk about how to use templates. Okay, so once you go into FlutterFlow, what you're going to do is create new. So I can say create new, and I can start from a template or a blank app. I'm going to start from a blank app because that's allowing us to understand like the overview of everything that's happening here. So the first part, I'm going to say build with me demo. Okay, so let's go here. We're going to create new. It's going to take me to the screen. And remember, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section down below. As always, this is a live stream. So first we answer all these questions, and then we're going to be creating another full length, like 15 to 18 minute demo. But remember, if you have any questions before we record that, it's really important because then we can have more detail when we create more videos for you. So once we get here, we're going to have this section, welcome to FlutterFlow, learn more, and you can look at the overview and all those things. Let me back up. I'm going to skip this. Okay. So now that we're here, we're going to kind of break this down into a couple different ways to make this more simple, because there's a lot going on and this can feel overwhelming. So if we're looking on the left hand side of the screen, you see where my cursor is. If we're looking at the left side of the screen, first, this is just going to give us the basic format of what we can be doing using FlutterFlow. So everything on the left hand side, it's going to first give us ideas of how to build. So it's going to allow us to do the drag and dropper, or like what we can add to the app. Then when we look at the widget tree, that's just giving us the organizational format of the page of that we're building and all of those things, right? So the widget tree allows us to understand the layers, all that stuff. The next part is page selector. This is going to allow us to see all of the pages in the app, so we can flip back and forth. If you've seen different breakdown videos, like when we've done AppGyver and things like that, most of these builders are very similar in the format. So again, we're going to be able to have multiple pages right there to look at once. Okay. Now that we have that, this is where we're going to really begin. This is really the format of how we're going to design the app. Then when we look across the app, if we're looking from left to right, now we're going to be getting the different elements that we can be using to actually add to our app. And then if we look right here in this section right here, the canvas, now we can actually look at what it's going to be looking like, right? So we can switch it over to dark mode. We can look at the display device, what it's going to look like. So that gives us a picture of as we're building. And then if we go all the way to the right, the page parameters, all of those things, now we're going to be able to look at the details of what we're going to be doing with that. Okay, so we look from left to right as we're doing this. If not, if we try to look at this and we're brand new to this, if this is brand new for you to be building, sometimes it's overwhelming. So you start from left. What do I want to build? How do I want to format it? And then I can go over here. So the first part is like building. If I wanted to add text, right, I can grab something over here and then I can grab it onto the screen. It says hello world. Hello world is right there. I can change hello world. I like pie. And you see how it changes, right? So we're starting from left all the way to right. And that is allowing us to have a good flow of how we're doing these things. That's the basics. Comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions, if this makes sense. Now, overall, we're going to have, that's what we're going to be able to do. When you're then thinking about how to add different sections and all of those things, you're going to, again, work on the basics, such as you could be adding a column, right? And right here it says you're about to replace the widget inside the home page scaffold, which already contains a column. It says if you don't want to replace it, you can add a stack column row. I can do that or replace it. I'm going to just cancel right there. So I'm already in a column. Now, what I can do is, remember, we're going from left to right. I kind of see what I want, but I want to see a column or see what's on the page a little bit more. I can go to the widget tree, and now look at this. Now I can see the column. I can see the column. From that column, I can add anything into it, like a container or something like this. So in the column, I can click that, and now I can add a container. So again, in the column, I'm now adding something. I can do a drop down. Hey, guess what? Now there's a container. Inside the container, what do I want in it? I can add a text and I can say, and you see how it says hello world again. I can change that. I like pie a lot. Right? So now I am layering it in the widget tree. So that's the basic format of how we're going to be looking at these pages. If you want more information or more examples, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, that's just so we can navigate, understand what's happening with FlutterFlow and how we build. You're going to first understand, hey, there is a framework of this. Then from there, we're going to kind of dive in a little bit deeper. We're going to structure this, the scaffolding, and scaffolding is just like, the structure around the building to hold it up. Then we can add columns, containers in it, and all of those things. More things on that later, right? Then on this section right here, this is great, but I can also just add a new page. I can click new page and I can add a new page from scratch, or I can add some kind of template or something that's already been made. So I can just use something that's already pre-made. I can just say use this theme or something like that. Let's do this one. Use this theme. No, let's say use template theme, and I'll just say build with me opening screen, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say use template theme. Yeah, let's look at that. And now I have this. Now look at this. If I click the pages, I click pages. Oh, crap. Let me go back. So if I click this button, the 4, it says view all pages. Now I can see my whole app. This was the one we just created where it said I like pie, right? But here I can just look at my other page that I just took as a template. And they already have the format and everything like that. And if I go back to the widget tree, look, they've already made all the formatting for me. So it's important to know how they structure it. But once you get the hang of it, or once you're like, hey, great, Doc, like that's great. I just want to use their templates. Great. Go ahead. You can do it. All right. One last thing. If you want to use a template like their Instagram template or something like that. So if you're interested in creating an Instagram clone or something similar to that, you're going to already need to have Firebase set up before you just import it. And so there's a video how to do it. I'm going to run through it as well, but just keep in mind that's why we said at the beginning. And if you like this and you want a guide, we just released the guide, FlutterFlow for beginners. This breaks down how to create your connect your Firebase account, and then that will help you even more. Okay, let's do it. So now that we have that, let's break this up a little bit more. Okay, so I have that. That looks great. Have that. Okay, let's go back out and I'm going to use the Instagram account or the Instagram like template. Right? So we see Robin Jobs. So Quartz, Geek. Let's see, what is this? Robin Jobs, Sniff Social, Trivia, Wedding App, Geek Chat, eDrive, Fin Wallet. Okay, so it gives me all these different template ideas. Okay, let's go with the photo sharing app. So it's going to say use sample. Now it already tells me what we have. Comes with 4 screens, authentication, and Firestore. This gives you a breakdown. So when you scroll over, it tells you exactly what you're going to be getting. Animations, gradients, 25 screens. That's a lot. And it's going to just, again, give you ideas of what's going to happen once you get this template. Now, this is pros and cons. Remember, go back to the beginning. What kind of app do you want to create? Don't just necessarily like just get one of these themes and then feel overwhelmed. Decide what platform or what template would work for you and why. So right here, we're just going to go photo sharing. I'm going to say use sample. I'm going to say IG IG beta idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say use sample. Okay. So it says, hey, set up Firebase. I've got to set up Firebase if I'm going to be going with this. Okay. So it says add Firebase to the project. Okay. So it's optional, but just to get everything started, that's what we're going to do. So what are we going to do here? We're going to go into Firebase. Okay. So we go to firebase.com. No, excuse me. We go to firebase.google.com. And remember this, use your Gmail account or whatever account that you created to have for your FlutterFlow account as well. It'll make it a lot more easy. Yeah, we'll just make it easier to do all of these things. So I'm right here. I say get started. From there, I can add a project. I'm going to add a project here. Enter your project. I'm going to name it IG Beta. IG Beta. I'm going to say continue. I'm going to not enable Google Analytics for this project and create this project. Going to just take a couple moments here as it's thinking about its life. All right. All right. Going nice. All right. All right. Okay. Continue. Now that we have this, we're going to go to build and we're going to go to, well, that's why I have notes. Hold on 1 second. What do I do? See, first I go to cloud functions. Yep. Let's see, cloud functions, go there. Okay. And, no, 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 no. Authentication. Wait, no, no. Build. Database. Yeah, we need to create database, but we first need your admin. Hold on 1 second. Authentication. There we go. Authentication. Then we get started. Users. All right. Let's see about this. That's why we have notes. 1 second. We go there. There we go. Project settings. I missed a step. There we go. Project settings. Then we go to users and permissions. There we go. Projects settings, users permissions, add a member. Then we're going to add a member and we're going to add FlutterFlow. So what we need to do is add FlutterFlow. Hold on 1 second. Firebase at FlutterFlow. Firebase at FlutterFlow.io. Add this. Gotta add this to the notes. That's why we do this. This is why we got all these notes for you. Okay. Add that one. And then make the person an editor. Add member. As editor. Okay. Now that they're an editor, we're going to click advanced permissions. So this. Make sure we have that. There we go. We add advanced permissions. We'll go into Google Cloud Platform. We have that. Then we go to the Firebase FlutterFlow admin. We have to add 2 more roles. Hold on. See, this is the tricky one, so I forget. We've got to add a admin role. Let's see. Cloud Functions admin. 2 roles. Next one we have to add. 1 second. 2 roles. There we go. Making these notes a little bit clearer. And by the way, yeah, anyone that gets these notes, as you can see, if I can make it more clear, I add them all the time. Advanced. There we go. And then we need search for filter account, and we need a service account user. Service account user. service account user. There we go. Okay, so we have that. Save it. All right, so we have all of that set up. Now that we have that, we have the service account right here. Now we have to set up the database. Now, why are we setting up the database like this? When you're creating an app that, especially with photos or anything like that, you have to have a database that is really fast and flexible, and you need something like Firebase. You don't have to use Firebase, but it is free to get started. It is very fast. It's a really a regular piece for a lot of startups, and that allows you to move a lot easier, and it integrates very easily because it's another Google product. That's why we use it. So we're going to do this with test mode. I'm putting the location that is in the US that's close to me, where it's talking about using a Firestore location. Depending on where you are in the world, you're just picking that. Okay, so it's setting up security rules, which is wonderful for us. We don't have to think about it. All right, all of those things are set up. So we have the authentication or the right authority, the admin and everything. So we have Firebase having access to that. We set up the database. Now we have to set up billing. And we have to do that because if we scale it and it's becomes a huge hit, we want to be able to still being able to have this not crash, right? So we're going to go to billing. Oh, functions. There we go. Functions, upgrade project. So it says to use functions, upgrade your project billing, and this is pay as you go. So you see how it says, set up a billing budget. I'm going to say skip. I do pay as we go. I like that better, right? So selected plan, Blaze, pay as you go, purchase. Because again, I'm not going to be paying at all because the app, I'm just testing out, see if people like it. I'm keeping all of this really, really lean, right? So I don't want to say, hey, I'd rather pay you guys $50 a month or $12 a month if I don't have any records and pictures and everything coming in. I'm just saying pay as you go. So we have all that set up. All of that is done. Now I have the project ID up here. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to connect it. It says, do you want to connect? Bam, connected. Next step. And then it says Firestore index prerequisites. Do I want to deploy it? I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to say start building. So right there, you just set it up and now you have a template already made and you have this app that you can start using right there. It's great. Now, again, this is if you notice, we had to do some configuration before we got here, but now we can start using this. We can preview it, run it, all of those things, which is really cool. But again, you saw that we need to set things up, make sure the account is already ready, and now we can start looking at this. Right, so we can look at what it looks like. Display. We can display keyboard, resize it if we want. See what's going on. We can share it. Public link. Let's get the public link. Okay, so it's right there. And now you're good to go, right? This is just one of the many things that you can be doing. Now, there's a lot more details because obviously we can go in, change what we want, all of those things. But you notice that we had to do a lot of prerequisites to get to this point, setting up our Firebase, getting our account, understanding how we're moving around, using FlutterFlow. That's just the beginning. So really understanding the format, understanding the very beginning, and then switching over to a template before just like, hey, I'm just going to start with the template. You need to know the workflow. You need to know all of those things. Now, that's just visually what's going on with the app. Then if we're looking at down here, this is where we're going to be able to do more advanced things. If we want to do API configuration, if we want to bring in specific media, custom functions, and then really what the app settings are, this is all the things we see in the background. But to get started, if you want to work on a project, work on a marketplace or whatever, now you can get started with FlutterFlow. And again, that's why we have this documentation to talk about how to get started with using Firebase. And there's tons of tutorials out there. But what we found is going step by step, looking at how to even use the page from left to right, it cuts out a lot of confusion because there's a lot here to get started and to really feel overwhelmed. So that's why we had it. We had a lot of questions about it. So that is what we got. Now we're going to be releasing other videos coming up uh, about very specific types of apps that you can do with FlutterFlow. If you have questions, remember in the comment section, let me know. In the next session, you're going to be seeing, I'm going to be talking about my tech stack, how I make money with no code and all of those things. So you're going to be seeing me build in a moment. But remember, if you have any questions about FlutterFlow, let us know in the comment section down below. And we're going to be the next time, we're going to be talking about what is out there, what kind of other no code tools we're using, what we're doing to build our second brain, all of those things. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.